Hello. Hope everyone has a very nice Thanksgiving and ate some turkey. J- so as you know, yesterday is Thanksgiving holiday, so the U.S. stock market is closed. But yet the obviously the Asian market and European market is still on. Just want to give you a quick recap about Wednesday market and how it looks like, or what the futures at the moment look like, and how it shapes up in my prediction on Friday and the following week. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 0.58% or 133 points after closing above the 30,000 level on Tuesday. The S&P 500 was down 0.14%, while the Nasdaq Composite at 0.47%. Cooler temperature with shorter outdoor revenue, a drop in unemployment benefit, and a jump in COVID cases put a damper on spending and confidence, said Danielle Swart, senior economist at Grant Thornton. Oil price rose more than 1% of data showing an expected draw in U.S. weekly inventories. Apple was up about 1%, while Slack Technologies, symbol WORK, jumped 37% on reports it had talks with Salesforce, symbol CRM, over possible sales. U.S. new home sales came in much stronger than consensus, but lower than previous report. Fed members debated a range of options on bond purchase to support the recovery. In recent weeks, the sense of urgency widened. The liquidity spot has been strengthened after Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said he would allow the central bank's emergency lending programs. Report indicated that President-elect Joe Biden will nominate Janet Yellen to be his secretary. Treasury Secretary have fostered hopes of a big fiscal stimulus package next year. If it can get past the Senate, that is still in the hands of the Republican Party. The number of people filing initial claim for jobless benefit in the United States rose for a second straight week last week, further exposing the extent of the economic slowdown as the COVID-19 worsens ravages the country again. Dow Jones futures and S&P futures fell slightly Thursday afternoon, and when I look at it now at the moment, which is Friday morning, it actually both of the Dow and Nasdaq were up slightly. And Nasdaq may still be up to breakthrough, and we'll still how it shapes up to, which is Friday when about after the bell. And I'm still thinking that the Nasdaq probably will break through year-end high, but Dow maybe slip back a little bit. That's just my prediction. Also, it depends if Amazon or e-commerce will provide any status update on Black Friday sales at the moment, that a drive to start either higher or lower, depending on sales volume. Obviously, it does have some, Friday, Black Friday deal. If you go shopping now, which, the outlet open, which I did not to do it this year because I'm trying to be just stay away, to not to be one of those an I number in the COVID cases. So I choose to kind of selectively looking at online shopping, which has some deals as well. Actually, GameStop, I bought a game for PS4 called Avengers because they really give $20, which is like 40% discount. With the original game was like $50. So, and then my mom is looking for a air fryer, and I mean I'm still choosing to see if that deal because certain brand have discount, certain don't. See, that's the trick about American businesses. They always market advertisement very big and say, hey, it's a lot of discount whatsoever, but you will have to pick and choose. And sometimes, you people may enjoy going through that motions, but I'm not. I'm a person probably like to pick up what I want as quickly as I can. If I have time, yeah, I may shop around a little bit, but mostly I don't. I don't have much want right now, and so we will see. If the consumer confidence index will go up, and actually the consumer spending as well, how it goes on the on the Black Friday and the prediction of the Christmas holiday. So, and Global Strategy and the Wells Fargo Investment Institute is looking for a sign of witnesses. It still shows a recovery, but the jobless claim, like I just talked about earlier, actually show a sign of slowing economy recovery. And over the last couple of weeks, we got mixed data that housing sales is the best ever of all the years. very strong due to millenniums. Third quarter gross domestic product grew by 33.1%. Stock market is record high, effective vaccine. So all the great news were actually, one after another pushing the stock market higher. But economists said that the rotation worker who have used up the sales, the state unemployment benefit, which actually the extension also expired by, the Christmas day, the 25th, I think, of December, in cycling our program into emergency pandemic programs, indicate more of the spring and summer job losses have become permanent. Revision of state and local government spending due to state running out of money. All these were kind of showing that it could be an issue with the economy expecting a week, going back and recover. We also see how Biden, if in office January, whether will give a stimulus or not. So I don't think anything I described above just about was any surprise, but you could set up a stage of pullback or correction early December. Again, at this point, strategy still think next year is we're in a very bearish, bullish market, but a lot of time, I think Americans are very optimistic a lot of time, and then when the market start to pull back, they become very 180-degree opposite. So it's important to have a long-term vision and really pick your stock and picking a very good long-term investment that will help you at least in 6 months, year or so. Update on coronavirus case number. Coronavirus case worldwide reached 61.15 million. That was yesterday's number. COVID-19 deaths topped up 1.43 million. Coronavirus cases in the U.S. have hit 13.19 million since the epidemic started, with deaths over 268,000 people now. Death toll 2,300 on Wednesday, the most since early May. More than 1 million Americans traveled via plane on the day before Thanksgiving, the highest number since the COVID-19 pandemic exploded in March. New statistics show. So still a 59% decrease from last year, but it's kind of very encouraging, this number. Although, like I said, I don't understand why, there's so many cases already. Why people will be so comfortable to be on the plane. I won't. Figures released by the Transportation Security Administration show that 1,070,967 travelers went for U.S. screening checkpoint Wednesday, down from 2.6 million 24,250 in 2019. In total, almost 6 million passengers were screened at airport from last Friday through Wednesday, TSA data shows. This may explain why the airline stock were up. If you look at United Airlines, it was at $45 as of Wednesday closing. Falling trading volume distract from claim that retail investors have taken over the market. If you look at this graph, which is basically give you a breakdown, what are the investment brokers firm that are being used, and I know the last couple of months, or maybe starting in June timeline when the stimulus were given and the market have been pushing up, right, as a recovery. And in August is very, very bullish in last that month. A lot of people are trying to explain how that happened, why that happened, and you can see this graph of this, which is showing up the trading percentage of Robinhood versus the other, institutional investors that are more experienced using these other brokerage firms. So it kind of really explain the story that it may not necessarily be the Robinhood. That's why you don't hear from them anymore. That driving the stock market actually up, especially in after the election, early November, up to this point. Of course, the data hasn't shown yet. Maybe Robinhood account was actually push it up in November, but this data was a couple months behind. So we'll find. I will keep you updated. But then you also, a lot of time, also there's something called market shock. When something happened different than the historic playbook, an institutional investor fund manager typically needs some time to react. So that could be at the beginning when Robinhood account really jack up the volume. The institutional investor actually have a difficulty challenging understanding the behavior or the pattern of what these people are really buying and what they're doing, right? So a good example with Bayer, they actually buy Hearst, which is a company that filed bankruptcy, right? They will actually push it up Kodak, which the price have been gone up like 2,000% or 200, 1,000% on just one day. So later on, they're saying there's some issue with with the prices and reporting. So the stock crashed the following couple of days later. Um, so all, so this is something I just want to show you and let you guys understand a little bit on what's going on with the market. And then the other graph, which is this one, which also I know is kind of hard to read, but the really key point is the blue line is the Apple, our Amazon, and these other were index, basically index line, and you can see Amazon, and same if you were playing Apple or Microsoft, the big one, it will actually behaving very similar to this graph. But the point of this graph really is that it showed that big tech stock don't have the same divergence or correlation from more traditional companies that they once had. So use S&P 500 as an example. Investors inevitably have their funds allocated, which is very heavily focused on Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Google. Like Apple is 6.43% the index overall S&P 500, Microsoft 5.46%, Facebook's 2.23%, and Google together is about 3.5%. And Tesla also added to the mix now, as you know, they got the permitted entrance to Nasdaq 500. So anyway, the bottom line is that this is an index that may lose representation of how you invest. So even if you see the index going down, it doesn't mean your balances of your account actually will be negative, but actually could be positive. And also a good example could be in a time when FANG stock were actually down. Well, your stay at home stock, which is Zoom, actually gone up, or Adobe actually gone up, right? And then some of the high tech stock actually gone up. So which is actually within the S&P 500 index. So while you're seeing the index down, your balance actually going up. So it will be a good time to look at how you invested, what you invested, and whether you want to rebalancing the portfolio. I think a lot of the people will have a new year resolution. I think for investment perspective, December will be time to take a look where you are at, especially if the market will be pulled back in December. What you have seen right now, you're probably very happy with your balance, with your investment. You should be making pretty good money with the wallet, but there's always a time to concern about what is something whether you need to capitalize. When I say capitalize, I mean sell it. So you pocket the money, the gain into your actual pocket rather than unrealized, which is just a number. You show that's one of the example why when Tesla stock were gone up. I mean, Elon Musk automatically becomes second or third richest man in America because he's using number of stock he owned with the valuation of how much it worth per share, right? So that come up with how much he really owned. But stock market fluctuated every day, so pretty much all these rich people, unless they really sell all the stock into cash, you really translate and changes very well every day. So if you like my video and have not subscribed, please do so. Click the bell, make sure that so that you will get future notification whenever I upload a new video, which I typically do every day, just to give you the latest and greatest information before the market open, and also some of my insight. Thank you very much. Hope you have a nice and wonderful day and a good weekend too.